What if I told you that on the most pivotal day of World War II, Adolf Hitler was taking a nap? Correct. On the day of the Normandy landing in 1944, Adolf Hitler was at his mountain retreat called the Berghof in Berchtesgaden in the Bavarian Alps. And on that morning, Hitler regularly stayed up until 3 o'clock a.m. or 4 o'clock a.m., regularly stayed up until that point. So Hitler was fast asleep when all the messages of the Normandy landing started coming in from his Western Front at about 6:30 a.m. However, waking him up was not a recommended proposition for anybody. Inner circle or otherwise, anybody who was in that building with him in his mansion didn't dare wake him up with the news of the invasion. Because obviously dictators don't like to be woken up. This also happened with Joseph Stalin in 1953. This is actually how he died. Now, Hitler wouldn't die on this day in 1944, but he would completely miss the requests and suggestions, should I say, from various Wehrmacht leaders on the Western Front to move panzer tanks closer to Normandy and away from where they were basically all stacked up at Calais. However, Hitler never got the word, at least not until he woke up at about 10 o'clock a.m. By this time, by 10 o'clock a.m., the Western Allies had already established a beachhead and were already making their move inland. So the idea of throwing them back into the sea, as Erwin Rommel had previously suggested, was a non-starter by this point because Hitler was taking a nap. I would have to say it was probably the costliest nap in the history of war. That said, I don't think he would have ordered it anyway, because of what he said when he woke up and got all the telegrams and everything else from the field in his mansion. And he said something along the lines of, "Oh, good, they've come." Because according to my previous episode, this is all ruse. He goes, "Oh, good, well, Patton's First Army hasn't moved, so that must be the real invasion force must still be in Britain." Well, of course, as I told you before, Patton's First Army was the greatest ruse of army fiction in the world's history, and it still is. So it was like, "Oh, good, they've come." But they've come all right, but it was the main force, and it was 200,000 Allied invaders at Normandy, further west on the coast. Not the logical place, which would have been Pas-de-Calais, which is where the shortest distance across the English Channel is, from Dover, Great Britain, to Calais. About a 20-mile stretch, which is why they put the Channel Tunnel in that location today. It's the shortest distance between the coasts. But no, Hitler was too busy recovering from an overnight, almost all-nighter, typical for him, and he needed his beauty sleep, and his inner circle was instructed and basically had past examples of men being executed for waking him up. There's nobody dared do it, even with all these reports coming in on the telegram. So there it is, folks. The most costly nap in the history of war. Adolf Hitler, 1944, D-Day. But again, it may not have been the costliest because Hitler might have taken these reports and not really ordered any changes to the setup. So the result might have been the same, but on the off chance that he might have actually been awakened to the reality, literally, this might have been a turning point had he not been sleeping. So anyhow, a shorty for tonight. Enjoy your Wednesday night. It was a good hump day. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. As always, I'm very thankful for everything that I have in my life. As a 53-year-old traumatic brain survivor, 4 years removed, who's able to live on his own, no roommates, and live on my own accordingly, I've been very blessed accordingly. I am very thankful to God for even being alive. So I'll go into tomorrow thinking that. I have my own meal prepared, getting ready here. I've actually ordered out some smoked turkey breast. I'll be bringing that in here, and I have stuffing ready to make. And I've got brown berry croutons and some chicken broth to use to make the stuffing. So, looking forward to that tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have an episode tomorrow, but if I think of something, I will. But anyhow, until the next time, peace out, homies.